None of us are safe from the ignorance of cops. Not just the ignorance, but also the malevolence of cops and just their brutality. They have a cruel heart. They really do. I mean that. You'll see in this report.
A young woman says El Cajon police forced their way into her apartment without a warrant and handcuffed her on the ground, all based on a bad 911 tip. She wanted an apology, but instead, officers gave her a ticket. NBC7 investigative reporter Alexis Rivas looked into what she says happened and also asked experts what you should do if police knock on your front door and you did not call them.
So the door was like this, it was open.
26-year-old Alexis Padilla says she was home alone when she heard loud banging on her front screen door. Standing on the other side was El Cajon Police Corporal Disk.
I literally told him, I was like, I'm home alone, there's nobody here.
It was around 10:30 in the morning on a Saturday in January when El Cajon police records show someone called 911. The caller said they heard a couple fighting and a woman screaming, "Get off me, get off me." The caller said it came from Padilla's apartment. The police dispatcher marked that call as domestic violence.
Oh my Lord. Is it a YT screener moonlighting as a dispatcher? No, but think about that, folks. I just told my dog to get off me just like 3 minutes ago.
And I told him, I was like, oh, I'm sorry, it might be my TV, but I promise you, like, I'll turn it down. There's nobody home.
Padilla says at the time of the 911 call, she was home alone. Her roommate had already left.
I felt like my rights were taken away. I felt like an animal.
She says what happened next compelled her to call NBC7 Investigates. So you closed this door then?
Actually, before I closed the door, he said, can I come in and check and search? And I said, no, you're not allowed to. I'm home alone. I don't feel safe.
Padilla says she closed the door and walked back to her room, only to hear loud banging again. This time, when she answered her door,
he grabs my door like this, and I try to close it. I'm like, what are you doing? And he's pulling on my door.
Padilla says Corporal Disk quickly overpowered her, and before she knew it, they were both in her living room.
He's pushing me, and I'm fighting with him. I'm like, stop, there's nobody here. What are you doing? What are you doing?
Padilla says she ran to her bedroom where Disk and another officer chased her and handcuffed her.
I'm on the ground in my room, face on the ground.
She showed us the bruises she says are from her scuffle with police, still visible more than a week later. But even though officers quickly confirmed she was home alone, she says she stayed handcuffed for nearly an hour.
Stop and think about that, folks. The officers had confirmed she's home alone. And they keep her tortured in torture cuffs, sitting for an hour. That's tremendous. After being traumatized by these guys with guns that just force their way into your house. And this is okay? This is not okay.
So I'm sitting on the ground like this, just detained.
And before police left, Padilla got a ticket for a misdemeanor.
See, this is more than a rights violation. This is absolute cruelty. This is the sort of thing we shouldn't stand for. And so this guy, Corporal Disk, he's a disc head. Okay, there we go. Just something like that. The YouTube screeners will be like,
obstructing a police officer. Honestly, I felt like he was just upset because I did tell him no and I closed the door.
He's a monster.
He didn't want to leave. It was like a power play to me. I felt like he violated my rights for no reason.
We reached out to El Cajon police, but they didn't want to comment.
Of course they don't. But after he gets arrested for something egregious and crazy and insane, something I would just act out, but then YouTube would be like, wow, man, we don't allow that in America anymore. Anyways, after this dude does something horrific, they'll put out a little statement that's like, we hold all of our guys to the highest standard and we don't accept any kind of shutting up
about what happened inside Padilla's apartment.
A police spokesman said they're still considering her case an active investigation, which is why they also won't release any body camera
Ooh, the public must not see.
video.
Having to force your way to investigate a DV call. It's just not that common. It just isn't.
Cameron Gary
Listen to this. Oh, you're going to love this.
would know. He retired after 30 years as a law enforcement officer. Gary says he was dispatched to a domestic violence call several times a week.
I have never, with maybe one or two exceptions, had a person not let us in.
Well, really?
You know, when we tell them that, hey, you know, I have to check. We can't.
Oh, yeah. When we tell them, hey, I have to check. Idiot. Rights violating fool.
Leave. I have to check.
Oh.
And there's ways that you can talk.
Oh, I have to check. And while I'm in there, I have to pee.
People, let them know that. And most people are pretty reasonable about that.
Oh, you know what? You're unreasonable, dude. You stupid cops are unreasonable to think that you can do that. You can't do that. What just happened was unreasonable. And so now we've got this smooth operator on here going, man, it's what we do. Man, come on, man, it's what we do. We've rarely had anybody not let us do what we do. And that's why Corporal Disk went nuts. He wouldn't have gone nuts if she would have just let him do what he do. Dumbass.
It's about how you package it.
Normally.
Oh, how do you package it? Well, did you package it with a black ring and a Betty Crocker hairstyle and a mean look on your face?
Police can't force their way inside your home without either first getting your consent or, if not, a warrant. But if a crime might be happening or someone might be in immediate danger, under the law, police are required.
Well, their fears and their suspicions were quelled. It was just about jerkism at that point. It was called butt hurt blue line pignorance.
To act. It's called exigent circumstances, and 911 calls concerning possible domestic violence are always considered exigent.
Police have a obligation, a legal as well as a moral, ethical obligation to
pay attention, to use deductive reasoning, which is something you guys don't even know. In fact, do you know what deductive reasoning is? They're slick.
To take some action.
Gary says if officers have to force their way inside to do that, there's a good reason why people also get detained.
You're entering a person's home.
Yeah, and you know what happened? Woo! I better not talk about it. Go look at the headlines last week. See how that turned out.
You don't know who's in the house. You don't know if she's running to go get a weapon. You don't know if she's the suspect or the victim. You don't know any of that.
You don't know nothing because you're too dumb to figure anything out. You couldn't have figured out within just a few minutes that this is, hey, you got the wrong place, dummy.
But San Diego criminal defense attorney David Shapiro says there are limits to what police can do under
Duh. It's called the Constitution.
the law.
When police knock on your door, you have many rights. The home is the most sacred place that you have as it relates to privacy.
He says even under exigent circumstances, like potential domestic violence, even then, if police bust through your door,
It does not give law enforcement the opportunity just to come in your house and stay there indefinitely.
Shapiro says those special exigent circumstances, allowing police the right to search your home, and full stop. The second a reasonable person could determine there's no crime.
Why would you let a goofball knucklehead who literally couldn't do any other job, couldn't even change the string on a weed eater, you would let some idiot like that into your home, much less search your home? Hell to the no. Hell no.
Happening and no one in immediate danger. In a small apartment the size of Padilla's, Shapiro says that should have only taken a couple of minutes.
The issue is, at what point did they cross the line?
Shapiro says in this
When they were yanking on the door and the girl's saying, hey, dude.
case, he's skeptical whether police even still had the right to force their way in.
If there was a positive interaction with law enforcement that said, I'm fine, I'm the only one here, there's a really strong argument that if an exigency existed when the door was closed, It went away when the door was opened.
As for Padilla's misdemeanor, Shapiro says an obstruction charge only holds up if you delay an officer from doing their lawful duty.
Of course they're going to throw it out, but they're all connected. The judge is in the DA, and they're all they should be mad at this dirty cop for wasting taxpayer dollars and brutalizing the citizens. You know, Corporal Disk is his name. Corporal Disk. What a jerk.
Keywords, lawful duty. If officers are inside your home unlawfully, outside the scope of exigent circumstances, you have the right to act reasonably to prevent them from doing their job.
There's more. There's more that you have a right to do. There's more.
On its face, it's not a good look for El Cajon police.
There's ways you can manage it without it getting. I don't think that the public expects that or wants that.
Oopsie! Was that a Freudian slip there, Slick? No, the public doesn't want that. But the public does expect that. You get it, Slick? Yes, you get it. It's in the back of your little pea brain. Your little cop pea brain. Ooh, your little lizard brain figured it out there for about a half a millisecond. Slick. Dummy.
Frankly,
Padilla says she hasn't been able to sleep and is now looking to move outside El Cajon, anywhere.
Hell yeah. I mean, that criminal cop's now really got it in for her. Man, she put me on the news. Stupid cop, retaliating jerk off.
Violated, I felt unheard.
Afraid of how she'd be treated should she need to call 911 because of how she was treated the day she didn't.
This is horrible. This is exactly why people are afraid of the police. This is why they don't want to go for help.
And El Cajon
Listen, it's why we also look at people who support the police and go, I don't want to ask you what's wrong with you. I know what's wrong with you. You're a cretin just like them.
Alexis Rivas, NBC7 investigates.
Okay, there you have it, folks. That was my nice side. That was my tender, smooth, easy morning show side. We're going to hope this one gets through the censorship machine. If it does, well, you'll have yourself a Bad Apple report in the morning. And I'll be so thankful that you watched it all the way through. Thanks, folks. Thank you guys so much for watching the Bad Apple Report every morning at 7:30 a.m. right here at home on the range. I really appreciate it. You hitting the like button, sharing the videos, commenting. It's really helped the channel grow. Thank you so much. I'll see you guys here tomorrow morning at 7:30 a.m. Thanks again.